Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Gary, and all the preparation that had to go into getting us this far this morning. I really want to make a special thank you to Jean for a very relative, very appropriate meditation that fits with the topic today. You know, this month the theme is open to infinite possibilities. And today we're looking at the aspect of infinite possibilities in letting go, releasing and letting go. That's the topic today. So we're going to talk a little bit about both of those, and then we'll open it up for you to question or comment on what strikes you about this. So, additional reading I found that works well with our topic. In The Science of Mind on page 232-4, Dr. Holmes says, "It is necessary that we release all thoughts as well as all things that clutter up our lives. We are reminded that there is something resembling the divine in the intelligence and fearlessness of the organs of our body." Wow. In the way they take that which is necessary to their sustenance and well-being, and release that which is not needed. End of quote. My goodness. So there's something divinely wise about our bodies that knows how to take that which is necessary to their sustenance and well-being and release what is not needed. What I hear in all of this from Dr. Holmes is that what he's really saying is the wisdom of the body, the way it works, is a good model for us to be able to release and let go. Release and let go. Use that as a model. You see, if we really want to receive the answers to our prayers, the answers to our dreams, the visioning that we put together, if we really want to receive answers for that, we must practice spiritually letting go and release, releasing completely and letting go. Now, the question usually is, how do you do that? It's really tough. I'll talk about that a little later today. A learned practice plays an important role in being open to the infinite possibilities. It happens, it's always there, but we are not always in the consciousness of receptivity. We're not always in the consciousness of opening to hear and to see and to feel the guidance that is available to us, that's pouring out to us, but we have not been conscious of it. It's like blocking it because it just flows through without our awareness. And you cannot experience something you're not aware of. That's true. Think about it. It's a very practical sense that we are made with, that we consciously, when we become conscious of something, we can experience it. The more conscious we are of it, the more fully we experience it. So take that into the opening to the best that you can imagine. Take that to the opening of a dream, a vision, a lifetime hope, dream and calling for you. And you take that same attitude into that. Think of what that would mean, how fully you will completely have that experience. And the reason we don't experience, as I said before, the reason we don't experience our dreams and our hopes and visions is because we are not conscious of the guidance, of the inspiration, of the inner voice that tells us where to go, when, how, what to say, do, when, and how, and when to do nothing. It's amazing. We learn how to do that through as I said, a spiritual practice that plays a big role in opening ourselves to the possibilities. Possibilities are awakened and open to us when we use our mind with imagination and with visioning. Those are two main aspects of an open mind. However, that is only felt, and that's really only the half of the whole issue. That's just the first two steps of solving the problem of not feeling the guidance that is there for us. There's a quote on page 140, Science of Mind, that says, here's what Dr. Holmes says about that. He says, what a marvelous thought to bear in mind that it is done unto us. He says, we need not coerce, we did not create, we do not create, but we let this great power operate through us. We don't have to create that. We don't have to coerce that into our lives. It is ready, willing, and supremely able to take us where our dreams and our hopes and our desires are. But we don't hear the voice if we're not conscious of it. And as I said before, the big question is how does one do that? It's not magic. It is within every human's ability. And I think opportunity, because if you take time to take care of yourself, this is part of it. Part of the well-being of a human being is the practice of spiritual principles. That's part of your well-being. If you don't know that, you're missing out on a major aspect of what it means to be human, what it means to be spirit, having a human experience. The only way we could do that is to silence ourselves from the din that's around us, and the noise, and all that's happening in our world that people are occupied with and keep repeating and reciting and rehearsing and presenting to us in so many different ways. You know, we have some radio stations, some, not radio only, but some TV stations that really know how to present that. And they have detected the appetite that the modern mind has for taking in at the level of indigestion, the stuff that they put out there. They've discovered that. So you can make a difference. You can make a difference first in your life. And when you feel so filled up with the guidance and the spirit and the centeredness, you begin to bless other people automatically. And people begin to recognize when they're being fed something that doesn't really feed their spirit, that doesn't really fill them with the joy of life, the joy of being. On page 232, Dr. Holmes says this: it is necessary that we release all thoughts as well as all things that clutter up our life. Are you willing to do that? So that you could be inspired, so that you can follow the divine dream. Your dream is a divine dream. You know why? Because you're using part of the divine mind. How do I know that? I know that because we believe in the principle of one mind. One mind. And the one mind says, my mind and the one mind are part and parcel together. They are one. So my mind is some part of the mind of God. Your mind is some part of the mind of God. Your ability to think and use it, that's what makes us different. We vary in the way we use this infinite power, this infinite mind that is the one mind. And when you use that one mind in a productive way, in a way that allows you to feel inspired, you're using the inspiration of God to you to express more of you. In other words, release and let go of the stuff, he says, that clutters up our life. Does your life feel cluttered up? Well, you know, if you start thinking about the inspiration that you need to express the best of you, you'll realize how cluttered up your life is, because you're going to recognize, what about this? What about that? What about all these blocks that get in the way? You know, people have dreams and hopes of something wonderful happening. And then somewhere down the road, if it doesn't happen like magic, because this is not magic, it doesn't happen like magic. So if it doesn't happen like magic, then there is sadness, there's disappointment, there's a feeling of failure, there's a feeling of a lack of ability to receive, to know, to recognize that power that is in us. And none of that is true. What is true is that it is there for us, and we have to learn how to release and let go of the things that clutter up our mind and our lives. Now, I'm not asking you to sell everything you have, give it away to the poor, and then sit with your pocket open and know that God is going to send you a lot of money. You'll be prosperous and your mind is open, and God is going to fill your head with all the good stuff. I'm not saying that at all. That's not what it is. What it is our attachment to the things of this world. You know, Jesus talks about not being of this world. That's what he's talking about. The distraction that we have not only succumbed, but we welcome. Do you know how you welcome distraction? Take a shopping trip. Go down the best shopping lane there is in town, and you will see exactly what distracts you and what's cluttering up your mind. I'm not going to name a lot of those things, because you know them. When you recognize them, you know them. The consciousness to recognize them is to be aware that it could be a distraction. Whatever it is you're looking at that you are attracted to could be a distraction from what really needs to fulfill you. We have a false idea of what we need to fulfill us. I'm sharing with you some spiritual truth that you can really begin to tap into the source of your good, of your joy, of your peace, of your happiness. Remind yourself each day of the wisdom of your body that Holmes talked about, that I read in the first place. And it says this: we are reminded that there is something resembling the divine intelligence and fearlessness of the organs of our body in the way that they take what is necessary for their sustenance and well-being, the sustenance and well-being, and then releases that which is not needed. That's divine wisdom that our bodies use automatically, because the body is not conscious of the things that we, in our minds, think our body needs and think that we should have, that clutters up our life. And he says, use your body as an example, as a metaphor. You know what? You couldn't have a better metaphor. And you couldn't have a more ready metaphor. It's ready, waiting, and say, wake up, wake up, wake up. Every morning you stand up, you said, wake up, wake up. Wake up to who you really are. Wake up to this wonderful example I'm giving you as you eat breakfast, as you have wonderful meals with your friends. Wake up, wake up, wake up. There's something about my body you need to notice right now. You're chewing, you're swallowing. What are you doing with this wisdom? What should I do with it? Look in the mirror. See what I did with all the food you've put inside of me. You know, it's so natural that we miss it because we expect something else. But nature is the best teacher in the world. We remind ourselves of the wisdom of the body and how its built-in intelligence gives us a good model of how the mind-body connection works for us every minute of the day. The mind-body connection. We have a class that teaches how to use that. I'm going to probably offer that class the next time I teach, which is coming shortly. I'll give Gary the title and the dates, and we could bring that up. The mind-body connection, it's called. It's a lovely class. So this mind is acted upon by our thought, and it is the way thought becomes a law in our life. You need to learn how to use this mind in the best of ways. You use your mind all the time. You look at where it's brought you today. Even getting on Zoom and saying, yes, I want to listen, I want to participate. That's part of the use of your mind. So you're using your mind in good ways. I am saying that you're missing out on the best of ways if you don't practice what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what's calling to you as you listen to the service today. The mind is acted upon by our thought, and in this way, thought becomes the law of our life. We do not create, Holmes says. We use the power. We do not coerce. In other words, we don't try to trick the mind into or try to force it. We don't have to do that. We simply have to be open to its incredible power to produce for us. And it's right there. Our beliefs and our deep-seated convictions inevitably outpicture and reflect themselves in our experience and our environment, both in the physical condition of the body and in the larger world of our affairs. He says that's what happens when we are using our mind. When we are not using our mind constructively and productively, spiritually, we are still having that principle works, because he says it becomes the law. When we think of something and the mind picks it up, it becomes the law of our being. Okay, so open to possibilities, flow more fully and easily without many restrictions. And when we free ourselves of anything that holds us back, inhibitions, for instance, lead to congestion. If you feel like you're not, like you don't have the ability, it leads to congestion. And then congestion justifies the consciousness of inhibition. See how we trick ourselves. Hesitancy leads to lack of trust and faith, which can totally disarm us with fear and paralysis. That's how we trick ourselves into not having what we want and always wishful thinking. Let us take time to develop spiritually, which can only develop into spiritual awakening, spiritual practice. We have spiritual practices that can help do that. Take advantage of them. We have classes that go on for weeks and weeks. The reason this more than 1 week is because it helps us to develop a new practice, a new habit. Habit is something that has been done over and over repeatedly until it becomes automatic. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could develop an automatic way of listening to the inner voice, of listening to the guidance for your superpowers to come forward that will bring only good, joy, happiness, and peace to yourself and to those around you? would not be a fabulous life? You will walk out every day saying to yourself, I am fulfilled. Thank you, God. Thank you, life. I am fulfilled up to the brim. I'm overflowing up to the brim. This is the kind of thing I'm talking about. How can you get there? I'm not talking about the extreme of anything. I'm talking about our nature is designed to do this. But we violate our nature by misuse of the one mind, misdirecting our attention. I would like to add to you this formula. Take time to muse. Take time to reflect. Take time to be silent. Take time to be in awe. Take time to contemplate. Take time to meditate. Take time to be alone. Take time to be quiet. Take time to hear the silence. And take time to know yourself. Those are 10 take times. You don't have to memorize them. They're written down. They're in the regular newsletter that goes out every month. I am so proud that we have the best person to do this for us. And you know what? She doesn't even charge. She doesn't even get paid to do this. She does this out of the willingness or openness of her generous heart. Where do you find people with that kind of gift that is ready to just give it back in its fullness? That's how we have developed this wonderful thing called CSL. CSL gave birth 10 years ago, a little more than that, and out comes Tara. Out comes Tara. And Tara does for us what we need to remember, a way to remind ourselves and feel happy doing it, because when you read the newsletter, it turns on the good juices. It helps you to feel like there is hope for me after all. So get the newsletter and follow some of the guidance in there. Follow some of the things that she's printed and reprinted and reprinted and reprinted. And you know what? A lot of us just bypass that all the time. And so we bypass the best of our lives. Are you willing to keep doing that? I'm not asking you to raise your hand. Open your heart. Open your mind. And let something wonderful happen for you starting now. Practice inner listening by going into the daily well-prescribed, regular spiritual inner practice of letting go completely. Release and let go of everything that clutters up your life. And I love you, and I thank you for listening. God bless. And so it is. As I say the treatment, to put in that request, to acknowledge things as easy to work with, to overcome that doesn't work, and easy to accept what does work. That's one thing you could put into your part of the spiritual mind treatment. And anybody who is listening to this treatment can apply it to their situation. So let us close our eyes now. Close your eyes, because your eyes are the windows to your soul. When you see something, you name it, and it becomes part of your life. So when you close your eyes, you are shutting the window of distraction. Listen to the inner silence. And let my words be your words. As I speak these words now, silently repeat them, that you can make them your own. I begin. I know there is one life. There is one mind. God is the one mind. God is the one life. the life of all life. The mind of God is the mind of all minds. Each one of us is an individuation of that one life, of that one mind. My mind is an individuation of the mind of God. And the mind of God is infinite wisdom, total knowledge, love beyond human understanding, unconditional love. All of these qualities are also in my mind as the microcosm of that one mind. And because I know this is true about me, I can declare now, coming out of that one mind, using my mind as an individuation of that one mind, I am able to direct my life in places of joy, peace, fulfillment, satisfaction, advancement. I use my mind to be a blessing, not only to my own life, but to the lives of everyone who hears the sound of my voice, sees the presence of my reflection, the energy of my being, in any way at all, as I express in this outer life experience called the human experience. I am a blessing in this world. I feel fulfilled, enhanced, and very, very loved. This is the truth of my existence, of my being, and I am so grateful for the power of the spoken word, the breath of life that is in the spoken word. I know that these words cannot return to me void because they are directed by that one mind and that one life to self-fulfillment. I'm thankful, grateful, and I release these words now to the power of that one mind, to the law that brings this to pass. It has become a law in my life right now. I know all is well, and so it is. Amen. So following this treatment, we say, and so it is, and that means it's the end of our presentation. I'm going to invite Susan to pray, to sing a nice song for us, and we are complete. But Gary probably could talk to us about how we can support CTCSL, Connecticut Center for Spiritual Living, how we can financially support this wonderful teaching that we have to offer, that inspires people, that causes people to want more. This is something we have to offer. And in order to offer that in a palatable way, in an enjoyable way, in an environment of peace and wholeness, we need the support of each of you.
Thank you, Reverend Patrick. It's important to, I'd like to lead us in our prayer today. Please repeat after me as you think about your donation. Place your hands over your heart.
Yes.
Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, in me. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you. Thank you.
Giving and receiving is actually the same thing. Once you understand that,
yes,
it's the same principle. I want to thank everybody. Great job today. It was a great experience for me. I hope you all enjoyed and felt the same way. Have a great week. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you Tuesday at some of the other events that we have here.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with
yes. Thank you.
All
Oh,
right.
wonderful. Thank you, Susan.